Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025. Commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. Today is commemorated as International Day for the Prevention of Fight Against All Forms of Transnational Organized Crime on 15th November. Organized crime thrives worldwide, afflicting and affecting governance and political process, then weakening the advancement of the rule of law. It encompasses inter alia, illicit trafficking of firearms, drugs, protected species, cultural property, or falsified medical products, and among its most severe manifestations, human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. It also includes the laundering of proceeds of crime and obstruction of justice. Moreover, with all forms of organized crime shifting ever more to being independent or being dependent on or incorporating online aspects, including the use of virtual assets, its reach and capability of harm is increasing. So, organized criminal groups are flexible in changing or expanding their illicit business for profit. They misuse vulnerabilities and crisis situations such as COVID-19 pandemic, economic downturns, natural disasters, and armed conflicts, exploiting them for their own purposes. Traditional territorial-based criminal groups have evolved or have particularly replaced by smaller and more flexible networks with branches across several jurisdictions. Criminal actors witness victims and proceeds of crime and may be located in many different states. It is therefore evident that joint efforts from these across the world are required as organized crime cannot be tackled in isolation. The United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime is applicable to all forms of serious crime of transnational nature and committed by the organization criminal groups more than 2 decades after its adoption. It's among the most ratified international legal instruments. Together with, with its three protocols, the convention remains the primary global tool to prevent and address a broad range of criminal activities effectively. In March 2024, the General Assembly declared 15th November the International Day for Prevention of and Fight Against All Forms of Transnational Organized Crime in order to raise awareness of the threats posed by all forms of transnational organized crime and to enhance international cooperation in this regard. It is recognized the importance of the prevention of and fight against transnational organized crime for the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The General Assembly commemorated all victims of organized crime, including those who have lost their lives fighting such crime, in particular law enforcement and judicial personnel, and paying special tribute to all those persons such as Judge Giovanni Falcone, whose work and sacrifice paved way for the adoption of the convention and affirming their legacy lives on through our global commitment to preventing and combating organized crime. For 2 decades, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, have been helping making the world safer from drugs, organized crime, corruption, and terrorism. We are committed to achieving health, security, and justice for all by tackling these threats and promoting peace and sustainable well being as deterrents to them. Today is also commemorated as America Recycles Day in US, which always is International Day. It began in Texas, where two employees of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality decided to celebrate Texas Recycling Day. This day was supposed to spread information about recycling in the state and encourage more people to recycle their waste. These employees, Kevin Sheriff and Valerie Davis, kept up observance of Texas Recycle Day as long as they worked with the Texas Commission. When they left their jobs, proposed the conversion of Texas Recycle Day to America's Recycle Day. The National Recycling Coalition accepted the proposal and America Recycles Day was born. The first America Recycles Day was announced in Florida and over 40 states participated. Over 40 years, the National Recycling Coalition has worked on spreading the events throughout the country. Now there are over 300 events throughout all 50 states. Today is also commemorated as Day of the Imprisoned Writer on November 15. Annually, raising awareness about the censorship, harassment, and persecution of writers and journalists worldwide. Censorship is a growing problem today, with many government agencies spying on their citizens, especially anti-vocal government critics, whistleblowers, and political activists. In some countries, freedom of the press is non-existent, and independent journalism results in arbitrary detention. Human rights organizations and groups dedicated to protecting free speech distribute banned materials in some parts of the world. They also invite advocates, writers, and reporters to discuss the state of independent journalism and free speech. Today is also commemorated as Govardhan Puja, on November 15 this year observed as and the term means pile of grain and is celebrated in Hindu households to cherish Lord Krishna's victory against Lord Indra by elevating the Govardhan hill. The heap of grain symbolizes the hill and also aligns with the teachings of Lord Krishna on worshipping nature. The day is also known as Ankut Puja and is one of the most important spiritual rituals performed across India. Generally, it is observed on the fourth day Diva of Diva, and sometimes it is commemorated monthly and also occasionally on different days. Today is also commemorated as I love to write day in US on celebrated on November 15th every year. Writing is a form of communication that's been around since the very beginning and lots of people love to do it. It's one of the most magical ways of sharing your ideas with the world. So I Love to Write Day was started by an author, John Riddle from Delaware. He wanted a day set aside to that everyone, no matter their age, could spend some time writing. It doesn't matter what people write, as long as they write and what they want to. So John Riddle was a writer. He wrote over 34 books and tons of articles. He believes that writing is a very good way for people to express themselves creatively. So he decided to challenge people to set one day aside for writing. He believed that I Love to Write Day could launch careers of the next best-selling author as long as they sit down and write. So writers across the world on all sorts of topics in many different forms. They are fictional and non-fictional books, novels, short stories, poems, plays, essays, articles, songs, and scripts. They may write for themselves, for blogs or for newspapers or be working with publishing houses. Some writers may be illustrators for work with illustrations to add pictures to their books. A lot of writers are self-taught, although many might pause to choose to improve their skills by taking a short course or even joining a long-term course. A lot of writers or even a full degree in kind of writing they want to pursue. There are course journalists, bloggers, and creative writers of all kinds. And writers are needed everywhere because a good writer is one who can convey ideas easily. So, if you are a scientist and you can still need to be a good writer if you want to talk about your research. Today is also commemorated as National Ample Time Day in US, which is observed on November 15th. If you don't feel like you have enough time, use today to reflect. Reflect on your life. So we all have the same number of hours in the day, but no two people spend them the same way, making a map of each area of your life, which will help figure out what essential and what you can do without time is infinite resource. You must learn how to manage it for a better quality of life. Time management has its roots in business world. The industrial revolution ushered in the age of unprecedented labor operations and manufacturing during the 19th century. The sheer scale of things demanded a revised relationship with time to ensure maximum efficiency in workplace productivity. Unlike seasonal agriculture, industrial work required punctuality and uniformity. There were deadlines to meet, commodities that needed to be delivered on time, and minor scheduling hiccups that could disrupt entire industries. Workers were now required to live by the hour rather than the sun. So, in the principles of scientific management, author Frederick Winslow Taylor presented his theory based on analysis and synthesis of workflows as called in 1911. The Taylorism aimed at increasing workers' productivity. Henry Ford expanded on these principles by refining the assembly line in 1930. So Ford's ingenious addition of a conveyor belt made Model T's production speed. So the concept of balancing needs with goals in time management first appeared in 1950s. Office workers needed to practice practical system focusing on the objectives rather than the tasks, a system that emerged in Peter Drucker's The Practice of Management. Drucker's ideas redefined the business world through more inclusive management models, moving away from old practice of the subordinating an institution to a single value. Time management is still a buzzword in the present day. So many institutions offer courses on it. Organizations now understand the importance of setting goals, prioritizing tasks, delegating duties, and arranging organized schedules more critically. Crucially, personal time management has become increasingly essential in household and workplace duties, leisure, health, and well-being. Today is also commemorated as National Bundt Day in US, which is celebrated on November 15th every year. Bundt cakes can be any kind of cake just as long as they are baked in a bundt pan. The pan design was derived from a type of European cake called the Gulpuck, and it's popular throughout the country. The simple and elegant bundt cakes were developed when the company Nordic were decided to introduce a new type of cake pan based on a type of European cake. It is also commemorated as National Camp T-shirt Day in November 15th in US. If you have ever gone to a camp, you know it's a memorable experience. Whether you were a counselor or an attendee, the nostalgia always hits hard. Camp T-shirts are best beekeepers to remind you of those days. Over 6 million children in the US attend some form of a camp. It's formative memory for many young Americans, and they took back on the fondness. National Camp T-shirt Day rewinds the clock. This holiday celebrates the camp spirit and the lessons and skills he learned while there. So T-shirts are the cornerstone of cool casual wear more than 100 years after the inception. They're still one of the most clothing terms. The design and style options are limitless. With hundreds of brands, the first T-shirts were advertised as undergarments. Brands like the Cooper Underwear Company marketed the bachelor undershirt to men in 1904. These rugged cotton undershirts needed to thread to put them on and making them ideal for singing. In 1940s, T-shirts were associated with the military. Many veterans returned the home with military issue undershirts, wearing them as everyday garments. Retailers like Sears began selling civilian versions which buyers liked for their comfort and versatility. T-shirts were also a tool for advertising. Thomas D. Devitt ran for the New York governor in 1948 using T-shirts printed with an image of his face and the words "Do it with Devitt." Today is also commemorated as National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day in US. Excuse the pun, but the timing has never been riper to celebrate National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day on November 15th. This is the perfect opportunity to tackle the science experiment that has been going it at the back and make sure you got the space in your fridge. For these days, a cleaning session is also a great opportunity to check how well your refrigerator is functioning and if needs any servicing with the National Clean Out Your Fridge Day coming right before the holidays. It's perfect opportunity to make sure that everything is ready before Thanksgiving and other holiday season. Today is also commemorated as National Drummer Day in US. Drummers are truly talented humans. One of the many reasons they are National Drummer Day on November 15th. Drummers are so coordinated that they can do something different with each limb and make it all sound perfectly synced. Studies show that drummers' brains are actually wired differently than us mere mortals, giving them enhanced problem solving abilities and an entirely different way of looking the world. Today is also commemorated as National Family Civility Day in US, which takes place on November 15th. Each year calls for the celebration of all types of families who are civil to and support each other, introduced by Dr. Rebecca Harper of the Family Civility Institute in 2019. National Family Civility Day also takes note of the contributions of public and private organizations in assisting families. The day recognizes nuclear families, blended families, families with disabilities, childless families, and chosen families such as friends or significant others. Regardless of the differences, a family gives us a sense of identity and makes our lives meaningful. Today is also commemorated as National Philanthropy Day on November 15th in US annually. This day signifies the importance of working together for common good. Philanthropic deeds come in all different shapes and sizes. Charitable giving, volunteering, etc. And on National Philanthropy Day, no act of kindness goes unnoticed. President Reagan first proclaimed November 15th as a National Philanthropy Day in 1986, and communities all throughout the world have celebrated the importance of the occasion ever since. Today is also commemorated as National Raisin Bran Cereal Day in US on November 15th every year. Bran cereal lovers. The US can raise a bowl and celebrate National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. The delicious and nutritious cereal, which has existed for decades, certainly deserves its own day. Raisin Bran is a breakfast cereal containing, you guessed it, raisin and grain flakes. The delicious cereal can be popped up straight into the mouth as a midday snack, spooned down with milk as a cereal, and remade into a new meal using a Raisin Bran's recipe since its appearance. In 1926, the cereal has been a staple in many American households, thanks to its high fiber content and nutritional value. It is also commemorated as National Recycling Day in US and hope we are ready to recycle because November 15th is National Recycling Day and we are making sure nothing gets turned into waste. According to the National Geographic, Americans sent 64 tons of waste to landfills during their lifetime. and that's 246 million tons of waste each year. So recycling is much older concept than we give it credit for. Archaeological studies have found during the periods when natural resources were sparse, waste dumps show less household waste, giving many reasons to believe that they were recycling and reusing products in the absence of virgin materials. So, in fact, finding recycled or reusable sources have always held a premium in human history. Whether it is the dumpsmen or Victorian era England who went around and collected coal fires to help But in fact, finding recycled or reusable resources have always held a premium in human history. Whether it's the dustmen of Victorian era England who went around and collected coal fires to help with the brick making or the development of shoddy and mugorags combining used materials with sparse amounts of virgin wood recycling has played a key part in our relationship with natural resources. Additionally, in modern history, wartime has always been a period of working down and recycling. Most resources in wartime go to, well, the war. So citizens typically need to find innovative ways of reusing what materials they have for what they need. Additionally, scrap metal and second-hand materials is increasingly important to help create a bank of resources for the armies to turn into utilities. Example of this are from World War II with the National Salvage Campaign in the Britain and the Salvage for Victory campaign stateside. In our modern times, nationalism has been replaced with environmentalism and the urge to help and preserve our scarce resources by reusing goods and reducing waste. So if prehistoric humans can figure out how to recycle, your annoying room can figure out it as well. Today is also commemorated as National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day, which is celebrated on November 15th every year, has been more than 200 years since first Hermit Cookie Day made. Hermit cookies are made with exotic spices such as cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves, mixed with raisins and currants. Emerging from America, the recipe has been a favorite among the people of all age groups, especially people who don't like the food items that are too sweet. National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day was created to give credit to this delicious recipe. Today is also commemorated as Pack Your Mom's Lunch Day on November 15th. Lola's inner Dino created this day in 2011 to appreciate mothers thanks to the meal prepping videos and the abundance of recipes online. It's easier than ever to make packed lunches from sandwiches, wraps, and subs to pastries, soups, and salads. You won't run out of ideas soon. Take this opportunity to spoil your mom by packing her favorite lunch. It is a simple act of kindness. However, you'll make things a little easier for her and feel loved and appreciated. Packet lunches are convenient, healthy options for millions of employees and students. Packed lunches grew popular with the manual laborers in 1800s, such as miners, construction, and factory workers. And farmers workers realized that going home for lunch wasted time, and most blue collar employees couldn't afford to dine at restaurants. So it made more sense to carry out something to eat with you. Workers took their lunches in old tobacco boxes, which they recycled into lunch boxes, and the early models were durable and essential requirement considering the environments they often worked in. Children began emulating their parents, leading to production of lunch boxes in 1902. The advent of television mean better advertising and sales. Companies like Nashville-based Aladdin began manufacturing decorated lunch boxes that became an instant. Decorations usually feature popular cartoon characters. Other companies like American Thermos jumped onto the bandwagon. Between 1950s and 70s, the industry went through an unprecedented boom. In the 1980s, the introduction of plastic lunch boxes reduced operational costs, but the golden age was over and the drive wasn't lucrative anymore. One by one, companies moved out of business. Aladdin, the industry pioneer, stopped making lunch boxes in 1998. Today, lunch boxes in plastic containers are a common sight across many offices, work sites, and schools. They come with a special compartments for different food items, and most can get reheated in a microwave. Lunch boxes are no longer status symbol, but they still the go-to solution for those who want to carry their food with them. And mothers worldwide still pack lunches for their families to work or school. Today is also commemorated as Republic Proclamation Day in Brazil. Brazilians celebrate Republic Proclamation Day on November 15th. On this day in 1889, the opposition triumphed over the constitutional monarchy through a military coup d'etat that overthrew Emperor Pedro II and established a provisional government. The Republic of the United States of Brazil, this day is remembered as the day of the country's republic was born. The country would subsequently fight to abolish dictatorial rule. But November 15th is still remembered as a historic day that sparked democracy in Brazil. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us in today's commemorations and celebrations. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link with different commemorations and celebrations. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good night.